circumstance to go. Leave me, run like you've never run before. A voice from the underground, given room to breathe, not be drowned. So die if you get the chance. Better men than you've been let this dance to go. Leave me, run like you've never run before. I have seen the worst, and there is nothing left for me to hate, so I can lay me down, my brothers, on the ground. I bled today until Coyote comes to raise me up and carries me away to go. Leave me, run like you never did. No, believe me, run like you've never run before.
Hello and welcome to the Scottish Rugby Podcast in association with the Scottish Rugby Blog. My name is Mark and I am joined this evening by the wonderful Miss Alpanda herself, Leslie Ramage. How are you doing this evening, Leslie?
I'm fine, Mark. We are thin on the ground. We've had to go to the reserves bench. We've drafted in the Academy kids. It's just you and I tonight. But it's all good.
Absolutely. It's due to unavoidable family situations with the other guys. We have one rule in the podcast, which is that family comes first. And we've had a couple of late call-offs as a result. So Leslie and I will struggle on. What we'll do is we'll go through some of the news items and a review of the weekend, and then we'll move over to Patreon and we'll have a little look forward to the big upcoming Champions Cup weekend and our usual sections of Hands in the Ruck and the new one of 5022. So just to say, welcome to the Scottish Rugby Podcast. Our podcast is part of the Sports Social Network. Please give us a follow or a like on the podcast app. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. You can also find us on social media, and all links can be found on our website, which is scottishrugbyblog.co.uk. If you're listening to us on Apple and you like what we do, please leave us a review. It does help. If you'd like more content and want to support what we do, you can subscribe to our Patreon for just £3 a month plus VAT, and that gives you access to our super secret Facebook group and also the second section of the pod where we look at reviews, we cover our Hands in the Ruck and our 5022 sections, and the chat gets a little bit looser, so to speak. Okay, fantastic. So, in terms of the news, I'm going to start a little with a match that happened today. in case any of you missed it, Scotland women's under-18 were playing in the Six Nations under-18 Rugby Festival. So it's slightly different. It's involving the Six Nations, but it's not a weekly event. They're running matches in a shortened format as well. So today's match, for example, was 35 minutes, a half. Scotland played Italy. The final score was 26-all, but that probably doesn't do justice to a match. It was very hard fought and kind of swung both ways. Italy had a player red carded on 18 minutes, which I know they'd be very disappointed about, but they still managed to dig in and they led at the break for 19-14. But our ladies came back in no small part to a hat trick from Connie Sanderson, who looked to be a highly rapid winger. I believe, I stand to be corrected, but I believe she's out of Boroughmuir. And I have to say, some of the handling skills that the young women were demonstrating were absolutely superb. Really, really good. Thoroughly enjoyable match. It was on YouTube. I suspect the other ones will be. Well worth catching up if you want to kill some time or bunk off work in the afternoon. Leslie, did you get a chance to have a look at it?
I didn't see the first half because I forgot it was on. So I only caught the second half. The second half of the first half, and then the second half. I believe the Italian player was red carded for a kick to the face.
Yep.
I didn't see it, but yeah, I believe that was what happened. And they were probably unlucky not to get another one because of hair pulling.
Yes, absolutely. I thought the Italians were very lucky to keep 14 to be honest. For not just hair pulling, but also for consistent and persistent infringement. Yeah. It
was really sort of it's quite a stop-start because there's so many scrums. I don't think I've seen a game with so many scrums in a long time.
There did seem to be.
Lots of 18 years old. It's fine, dropping balls and whatever. But yeah, it's some lovely passing for the one of Connie's tries that you were talking about earlier. Just really nice, soft hands from everybody to get a corner. Lovely. She's got some gas on her as well.
Incredible speed, yeah, and I think right at the end, a kickable penalty to win it. But I think there's a spirit in the tournament that is almost Barbarians-esque that they decided to adhere to, and they went to the line.
To be fair, the kicking is obviously in the women's game is not quite to the same level it is in the men's game. And if you're not confident you're going to get the kick, you've been as well going, for a corner and trying to get a try or whatever,
Yeah. And well worth a watch if
definitely.
And you probably get it on replay on YouTube if you're interested. Sticking with the younger representatives as well, some excellent news this past week for Jack Diel, the standoff of the under-20s, who has been nominated for Player of the Tournament for the under-20s Six Nations, which is equally superb when you think that Jack's young enough to have been playing in the under-18s festival. Jake, sorry, I beg your pardon.
Yeah. I mean, he was. I think he was sort of drafted in almost at the last minute, or not, or started at the last minute because Ross Wolfenden was injured for the first game. That really good Italy win that they got, and I think he pretty much kept his place to the whole tournament, which was obviously not expected, and he played very well. Obviously, to only be 17 and still in school is quite an achievement for the young guy.
Absolutely, and just because there's nobody here to talk about How of Fife, I'm just going to mention Ross Wolfenden is also from the Mighty Peebles. So a little nod to the mighty P's from me for that. Final thing on the more general news, I think, is I know we mentioned it last week, but the Emma Wassell documentary premieres this weekend. Very much looking forward to seeing that. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Is it only streaming? I think it's only
Yes, I think it's on YouTube, on the Scottish Rugby YouTube channel.
Okay.
I think she's having the premieres or this evening. I think I saw lots of pictures on socials of everybody on the carpet to watch the premiere.
Yeah, was it season ticket holders got the opportunity to
Not quite sure.
go or something like that?
how
I
it
can't
was
quite
working.
remember. There was a stipulation about how you got invited to it. Indeed. Okay, so on to a little bit of Glasgow news. On some very good news on the injury front, that Kyle Steyn might actually be well enough to return for this weekend's Champion Cup game. Now, obviously, we're going out too early to see the teams. The team should come out tomorrow, but that would be excellent news for Glasgow. Real boost.
Yeah, getting the captain back would be real boost. He's been playing so well. You just hope that if he is fit, that he's back to what we've seen over the last few weeks with the Six Nations. But with the way Fergus Watson played it last weekend, I don't think I'd be too worried if
No,
if Kyle wasn't fit. It's nice
indeed.
to imagine having options. That's nice.
Absolutely, and that segues nicely into the next part of the news, which is the moves to and from Glasgow. And Fergus Watson has indeed signed his first professional contract after his first professional start, or his first full team start last weekend.
Yep.
Try
and debut as well.
Absolutely, had a fantastic game, and he's a unit. He's 6'3" and 15 stone. He's only 20 years old.
He's a bit like a Doohan, but not as heavy, almost, if you know what I mean. A bit more of a slighter build, maybe. I remember seeing.
Well, I mean, he could easily have gone to ground, but he fought through the final tackle and kept off the whitewash on the sideline. So no, I thought he had a fabulous game, a real prospect for the future. Great news with himself and some of the other youngsters, the likes of Johnny Ventisai and people like that, and Kerry Yule as well coming through.
Yep.
Glasgow backline at least looks in rude good health.
It does,
and Jack Oliver as well, of course, at scrum half.
I thought he was very good at the weekend,
He was excellent. And the other moves from Glasgow, Johnny Matthews leaving. The rumour is to Montauban, who I believe are currently propping up the top 14.
They are not a good side.
No. So he could end up playing Pro D2.
What do you do? Yeah.
But it seems to have done Dave Cherry's Six Nations no harm.
The thing is, he's 32 or something now?
Yeah.
Maybe, something like that. If you're going to get a big payday in France, he's got to go and take it. He's not first choice at Glasgow. It may be different if he was, but he's not. So
absolutely
go for it. Go get the money. Enjoy France. Have a wonderful time. Yeah, I can't blame it. I know people are some people have been a bit. I know nothing's been officially announced, but you see people not being too happy about it. But it's a short career. You've got to get the cash while you can.
Absolutely, and he's been a fantastic servant to Glasgow. I know there are at least a segment, if not a majority of Glasgow fans who will never not be upset about him not getting more Scotland caps. But nonetheless, he's been fantastic for Glasgow. He's up there amongst their record try scorers. And yeah, he's been a great player. I don't begrudge him his move at all. Go
No.
and get a nice fat check and spend some time in the sun and
Yeah.
enjoy the lifestyle change. If I were in his position and going to be a predominantly second or even third choice at Glasgow, I'd be looking to warm the pine in a sunnier climate.
Mhm.
Simple as that. The other side of that discussion is that Sam Talakai has extended his contract by a year.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming, to be
I
honest.
thought it was already announced that he was going. I had that in my head, but clearly not. I've picked that up incorrectly. And
Well, He's I d- he's obviously a decent enough prop, but I just didn't know if he was what maybe Glasgow were looking for, maybe. But I guess
Yeah.
sometimes you just need a nice snarly non-Scottish qualified prop to churn away while guys are
Yeah.
in international camp.
I think that's part of the challenge, that you need somebody there. I was disappointed that Alan's not here because Alan has opinions on Sam Talakai's propping.
Yes. I believe
He's-
John Anderson is also not a fan, particularly.
No. I'm just looking up here how many caps he's had for Glasgow, because I think it's actually quite a...
It seems like quite a lot. He's not been injured a great deal, which is probably quite useful. Considering Murphy Walker and the likes have been sort of made of glass.
Yeah, his Wikipedia isn't up to date, so... but he's been here a fair number of years, a couple of years, and I seem to recall he's... I don't know, 37 appearances. Right, there we go. 37
Right.
appearances. His first try was last weekend.
Yeah, I mean, look how many flashy backs Glasgow have. The props don't.
Yeah,
going up.
not necessarily the props job at all, but quite interesting nonetheless. I wonder how many Xander has. But yeah, I think he's okay. I think it's interesting they only got a year, and I wonder if that's as much to do with their ability to get somebody else.
Yes, true.
We've got somebody on the post saying Big Sam gets the job done. I think he's much more useful than Schickerling, and I don't think I would argue with that point either, to be perfectly honest. We're not awash with top class props at the moment across either of the Scotland
No.
teams, particularly with Bonaventure leaving, which is a crying shame. And the final bit of signing news, I think, from Glasgow is the new chap, Ruan van der Merwe.
I know nothing about this guy. I'd never heard of him until the announcement went out. But it looks like he can play across the back row, so he could well be a.
I just
Suitable.
remember what my other 50-22 was. That's why I was taking a note.
Write it down while you remember.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, as I said, didn't know really anything about this guy, but plays for the Pumas in South Africa for the Currie Cup team. From the highlights we've seen, it looks like, as I say, he can play across the back row.
And there's
Until we see him, I guess we just don't know. I've never seen the guy play, so I can't judge him too harshly.
No, absolutely. There's Latman 460 saying he was sold on Glasgow by Henko Venter, which wouldn't surprise me at all. Looking at the highlight reel, he's definitely got a bit of the Jack Dempsey's about him. He
There's
seems
some
to be
aggression there,
a
yeah.
very dynamic carrier, which
Yep.
suits the Glasgow game very well.
Oh yeah.
Glasgow, to be perfectly fair, have had a habit of plucking people out of nowhere that nobody's ever heard of, and they suddenly become really, really good and really, really important to the team. So
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
hoping he's another one of those.
I mean, if you look at Sione, he wasn't exactly setting the heather alight in Japan before he came over. There's obviously potential there, but
Absolutely, yeah. And the same could be said for Hugh Jones in his first
Yeah.
sign in Glasgow, you know.
absolutely.
So yeah, so I think that's probably it for the Glasgow news. Moving on to Edinburgh. Really only one bit of news, which is that Maggie Bradbury is injured and unavailable for the Leinster game. Have you any idea how long the injury is or how serious it is?
I don't. I just read the headline. I'm not. Obviously, this is a little bit. We're going to talk about it later, but I'm not sure Edinburgh are going to win anyway, with or without Maggie, perhaps. So yes, it's obviously it's horrible for Maggie to be injured, and I hope it's nothing serious, that he's not going to be out for too long. But Edinburgh's season's pretty much done. They'll just have to play at their last games. They're not going to make playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame. I do hope Maggie's all right, but yeah, disappointing. He's been one of our best players, and he is the captain. So yeah,
Yeah, I think I was glad to see him get back into the Scotland squad, because Maggie at his best, I think, is the kind of number 8 we need in Scotland, and he has been playing better. Unfortunately, just in an Edinburgh team that hasn't been doing as well. So yeah, I think he'll be a loss at the weekend. The other thing, and you and I mentioned it just briefly before we came on, we've got leavers from Edinburgh, Bonventure, and who are the other ones? Remind me.
Mish and
Mish.
Ben Healy.
And Healy, yes. And Healy hasn't been getting a game anyway, and I wish him all the best. Mish alone, but I don't think he's coming back. Bonventure, we know, is leaving.
Yes. Yep.
But we're not seeing any signings.
Yeah, there's not even been any academy kids, as far as I'm aware, have been lined up for anything. Or I think, from memory, I think a lot of Edinburgh's academy are sort of slightly younger than Glasgow's, so they're maybe not there yet in terms of. I mean, I guess they've got a few folks playing. They've got like Jack Brown and Liam, who are sort of slightly older, that have then joined the main team, but
Yeah.
the rest are all, I think, a bit younger.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what's going on with Edinburgh. There's been nothing. It's like ghost town out there.
Yeah, and it's getting to the stage. I mean, we're April now. You'd kind of think we were starting to see these things drip through, as we have at Glasgow. So it'll be interesting. Maybe they're holding them to be a fanfare when they make the final of the Champions Cup. I don't know. Yeah.
Yes, perhaps. Maybe not.
And finally, news about the women's squad for the Six Nations, the full women's squad for the Six Nations, which starts next week.
Next week, yep.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it's not great news for all concerned. Evie Gallagher is out with injury, which I think is massive. Yeah.
For folks that maybe don't follow the women's game or are not as close to it, this is like losing Jack Dempsey and, say, Rory Darge at the same time because of what she does. It is like one of the worst people we could lose for the tournament.
Yeah.
It's awful. Like just like 2 weeks before as well, the competition starts that she picked up this injury, which is just awful timing. But hopefully
And
she comes back.
as she has said herself, phenomenal player that she is, she has described herself as the most famous pants in women's rugby.
Yes.
Highly amusing if any of you watch the Women's World Cup. She is, however, being replaced by Gemma Bell, who's out of Glasgow. I don't
Yep.
know anything about Gemma. I haven't watched enough of Glasgow's games to have an opinion there.
So I might be wrong, but I think she was like a training panelist previously for the wider Scotland squad.
Right.
I don't think there was any probable chance of her playing, but I think she may have been called in. I think, casting my mind back here, but she is she's very good. She's not, but she's younger as well. She's younger than one of the youngest in the squad. So
Right.
she's not Evie, but she could be given time, by coaching. Yeah, I hope. I would certainly like to see her, on a bench or something like that.
So thank you, Carlotta.
People
Tell us you haven't been watching
There's nothing listening.
for the last 2 months.
Well,
Yes, Leslie is on the pod. And very grateful to have her where we are. The other injury, of course, is to Anne Young, which again is we're not huge in depth.
we don't have the props.
No.
Yeah, she was really, really a key part of that scrum, either starting or bench. So to have lost a key prop, that's bad times. I really don't know enough about Demi Swan that's replacing her. It's not something I'm sort of familiar with.
No, I did a very quick bit of reading up just shortly before I switched on my ticket, basically. Plays for Exeter. Seems to be quite well regarded. She's Canadian, but qualified through Scotland through blood. So you never know. Excuse me, we've done quite well with North American props in the past. With CB.
Yes, lovely Christine. Yeah.
Yeah. So
If she wants to come back just for a little bit, Christine, just saying. Would be
yeah,
useful.
yeah, absolutely. She would she would not be turned away, I suspect.
No, absolutely not. If Jade Conkle wants to return, just
Yeah.
nations, just
Kicking her heels down there with the fire brigade. Yeah.
we could really do with an 8.
Yeah. So I think that's probably it for the news. It was interesting. We were chatting earlier, and we kind of said, "Oh, we didn't think there was actually that much news." But when you actually start going through it, there's a fair amount. So I think because we have the representative tournaments coming up as well, that the representative tournaments going on, and the Women's Six Nations about to start. So
Yeah.
So I think there is a fair amount. So that's good. So, ladies and gentlemen, the weekend gone by. Do you just want to do this in chronological order? We start with Glasgow, or do you want to get Edinburgh over with?
Do this any way you prefer, Mark. I have no preference.
Okay. Let's start with Glasgow then. Just do it in chronological order. Glasgow played Benetton on Friday night.
Yeah.
Brief précis of the game. Benetton scored on 14 minutes and went 7-0 up. Johnny Matthews, having spoken about how great a servant Johnny Matthews has been, and that changes nothing. He absolutely has been. He will not want to see that tackle on Paulo Odogwu again. But these things happen, right? And
It does.
Glasgow didn't score until the 37th minute when none other than Johnny Matthews crossed the white. Swings and roundabouts, right?
Yeah.
I was genuinely beginning to twitch a wee bit by that point. I think Benetton got a penalty just before halftime, so the halftime score was 7-10, or was it just after halftime and it was 7-all at halftime?
I think it's
can't-
7-all at halftime.
I can't quite remember because I was flicking through the highlights to pick up the scoring order. But anyway, by that point, after 40 minutes, I was beginning to twitch. And then basically in the second half, Glasgow just did Glasgow things. From the early in the second half, I think it was 43 minutes, 44 minutes, Fergus Watson, the new cap, went over for a cracking try on debut, followed by tries from Max Williamson, Seb Stephen, and the aforementioned Sam Talakai. Benetton had one disallowed for a knock-on. Rightly, it was the correct decision. But otherwise didn't score again, and Glasgow ended up running out 31-10. They do have a little bit of the unstoppable feel about them at the moment.
Well, that's the kiss of death right there, Mark. If Glasgow lose at the weekend, right, we're blaming you. Do you know, I watched it and I didn't see it, a lot of it live. I had to catch up with it on the Saturday, but I didn't feel worried at any point. Yeah, they were losing, but it never felt out of reach. It was like, yeah, okay, that was a soft try. Give Glasgow a little bit of time; they'll sort this out. The moment at half time, I thought, this Benetton are not far enough ahead for Glasgow to not come back here. The bench is better than Benetton's bench. I think they kind of proved that when I think Jack Oliver made quite a difference when he came on. Just that little speed of ball, you know, that like George Horn would normally have, I think really kind of helped. But he was quite good when he came on. And yeah, it's just I don't worry when I watch Glasgow unless it was I worried maybe in that Toulouse game back a few months back when they went down by quite a score, but yeah.
There's Hugh Pilotu in the chat saying watching Glasgow typically can feel okay with being behind. It almost always seems to come right, and I couldn't agree more. It's exactly as you've just said, Leslie. That
I agree with Cammy there.
I relax when I'm watching Glasgow, even when they're behind, and even in this match, I was twitching a little bit, but I wasn't in any way, shape, or form panicking. If Edinburgh had been 10-7 behind at halftime or shortly in the second half, I'd have been going, well, that's over, right?
Yeah, it definitely feels like Glasgow trust the process, and that it'll come good.
Yeah,
and have enough good bodies to make it happen.
They talk a lot in Glasgow about the process, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hear George Horn often say, Franco makes it easy for us. Franco keeps it simple, etc.
Yeah.
And everybody understands what's happening. And you see it on the park.
I do wonder if that's why we can bring in youngsters like Fergus Watson and like Jack Oliver and people like that, because they all know the process, so they all know their job and they just slot straight in. None of them, when I think about Oliver and Watson and Kerry Yule and Johnny Ventisai, none of them on their recent first caps in the last 2 or 3 months have all had their debuts. Maybe Kerry Yule was a little bit before that, but not a single one of them has performed badly. They've all fitted in as if they were born to the task. So as I was taking notes, it was, what do you write? Glasgow just started doing Glasgow things, you know.
Glasgow did as expected.
Exactly. Yeah. And
B plus Performing to expectations.
Yes, exactly. So yeah. So on that note, Edinburgh, away at Stormers, which is no easy place to go. Let's be honest.
No, it isn't.
Again, a quick précis. 7-0 at half time, but finished up the game 33-14 to the Stormers. The Stormers had a justified yellow card on 5 minutes, but Edinburgh couldn't score in that period, which I thought was a shame. Excuse me. Evan Roos scored on 24 minutes, and then James Lang put in a 95-meter intercept on 33 minutes. Rumour has it he's still out of breath.
Yeah. Poor guy, he did take a bit of time to recover, didn't he?
Yeah.
What a shame.
To be fair, it was a cracking intercept.
It was. It was.
Well taken try. Fair play to him. I really did think he was going to get dragged down by them.
Yeah, I didn't. He was faster than I was expecting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I thought I can't remember who the winger was that was coming in from his left-hand side.
Yeah.
But I really thought he was going to get hunted down, but he made it in the end. So that made it 7-0 at half time. But then after the half, their winger Zas, that's who it was tracking them down, Zas. Their winger Zas and Bonaventure traded tries. Another from the Lucid prop after he'd come back on. And I didn't get his name. So forgive me for that. And a second for Evan Roos basically sealed the deal before Dion Fourie scored on 79 minutes and 55 seconds.
Yes.
To put absolute gloss on it, like they needed it anyway. But
that last scrum just before he scored. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Just push back into next week. Awful. It was,
yes. It just fell apart. Yeah.
Just where you needed Edinburgh to really, stand up and be together as a unit and defend. They just couldn't do it.
Do you think it's a collective mentality thing?
It certainly looks like confidence is low. Purely looking at players' faces and body language that we can see. It does not look like that is a happy place to be. Now that could just be because they're not getting over the hump and they can't work out their problems. Or it could be that they don't have faith in the coaching team and they're having to try and struggle through games and I don't know, but it certainly doesn't look like a happy camp. And if people are not happy, I don't think you expect them to play particularly well either. Whether it's chicken and egg, I don't know, but it certainly doesn't give off good happy vibes.
No, there's probably something in that, the chicken and egg thing. Edinburgh's attack, I started taking notes halfway into the game and just got a little fed up because I was watching it live. And there seems to me to be no deceit or artifice about their attack. It's all, there's nothing clever going on to try and open up position or anything like that. The two tries that they did score were an intercept, albeit a great intercept.
Yeah, Jack hit away from him, yeah.
And a prop try from a metre out. There's no cracking open the defences here, putting people through the gap. The only time that happened was again a little bit of individual flair from the new guy, Maleli Satala, who I thought actually played really well, but probably hasn't been there long enough to be ground down.
This is his first season with the club, isn't it? So yeah, he's not played that a great amount either, has he?
He's been injured.
I only think I've played 2-3 games, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the attack is just you can almost, I can see what they're going to do because it's so slow and so ponderous. You think, right, he's going to pass it to him and it'll eventually get to Ross Thompson and he'll probably kick it, or Ben Belcott will kick it.
Yeah.
And then it just, there's no spark to it. There's no, as you say, there's no deceit. There's nothing exciting happening there. It's
No.
just, it's almost like rugby by numbers. It's like you pass the
Yeah,
ball to him, he passes the ball, and this is what we do. But it's not really.
I wrote at one point,
Nothing at all.
it's the kind of attacking setup you'd expect from a low-level schools team. Very, very
Yeah.
basic.
Yeah.
And I was also really struck by how little speed they were putting onto their attack. They just, and not just in speed of pass, but people either standing still or walking
Yes.
or to take the ball. Nobody's seemed to be hitting the line at pace. And I don't understand that, because that's really basics, right?
But then, is this also maybe part of the whole lethargy, for want of a better word, around the team, where there is no desire or effort?
Yeah.
There's no want to get up to do this stuff because they don't think it's going to go anywhere or nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's, and also, I'm going to give them a little bit of tiny little bit of leeway. There has been no consistency between 9 and 13 for the whole season. And
Yes.
it's not in a Franco Smith, this is I'm dropping in people, this is I don't know who my 9, 10 and 12 and 13 are. It's we saw James Lang, we've seen Matt Curry, we've seen Masesi, we've seen God, who else has played in centres? Wes Houston, maybe.
Well,
I think he's played as well. Yeah.
Piers O'Connor.
Yes.
And he's absolutely not setting the head of the line.
God,
Although saying that, he had a better game at 15, I thought, at the weekend.
yes, I actually thought he did better at 15 too. Just, we have Benji playing 9, and sometimes we've changed him out, but we've changed the 10 as well. You're like, that works if you've got a really good setup and everybody knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
But when nobody knows what they're doing and you're changing it week to week.
It almost seems to be Franco's able to do it at Glasgow because he has the confidence to mix and match and know everybody can do their job. Whereas Sean Everett just doesn't know. Doesn't know.
Yeah.
his
Franco seems to do it quite a thought out way, whereas you're playing Johnny Ventisai, but you've maybe got, you've got a Stafford next to him, a bit more experienced.
Yeah.
This week you've got Siori was playing, wasn't he? Was it who he was playing with as well? And you've got Fergus on the wing.
Exactly.
You're not putting all these guys together at once. I think going, all right, just on you go, work it out.
Throw the crash on and see how they get on.
Yeah, it feels like, for me, it always feels like Franco's very methodical and seems to really think about who's playing and keeps a core of mostly where they can experienced players and drops in newbies with experienced guys round about them that things are starting to go wrong. We've got somebody there. I don't know what Edinburgh are doing. I don't think Sean Everett knows what he's doing.
Well, I think as well, and Brian Dalglish has made a point. Edinburgh always attack. Edinburgh attack always starts with a shout of eagle, Even as supporters, we shout it. It's that obvious.
Well,
And
even Craig's mentioned this
get
before.
Craig started on that.
Craig hates it.
Well, it's been years. That's been
Yeah.
the Eagle has been the call for a box kick for years. So the minute players are shouting "Eagle, Eagle," the whole opposition team just forms to receive a box kick. It's beyond my comprehension that a professional team would not change that in. It's got to be 5 years, right? It's a
I
long
think
time.
it might be more than that.
Yeah, absolutely bonkers. But yeah, anyway. So yes, so yeah, I think the point is, and as I said on here last week, it's got to the stage when I'm disheartened. Not this game past, but the week before, I just went and cooked. I didn't even watch the second half of the Lions game because I just had enough. I've since watched it back because of this, because of the pod. But at the time, I just I was not interested. It was just like, no, enough's enough. I think the challenge that Edinburgh will have is that it's going to start hitting them in the pocket. I'm hearing
Well,
more and more about people turning down season tickets. Now, I've since moved back to the Borders from West Lothian, but when I was in West Lothian, I bought a season ticket, and I actually bought it Sean Everett's first year, because I'd been watching them play under Mike Blair, right?
Yeah.
And going
Very
to the
different.
Friday Night Lights from West Lothian after I'd finished work, getting in the car, driving in for 45 minutes, not having a pint because I have to drive, and then watching some really dire rugby. I didn't buy it a second year.
Yep.
There's got to be more and more people just going, nah, I can watch it at home in the warm and choose to turn it off and go and cook.
I've seen probably almost maybe 10 folks saying, I'm not doing this until he goes.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, I think if they were playing, you know, nice rugby and maybe not quite getting over the line, people would be much more forgiving of that, a bit more understanding. But when they're playing horrible rugby and they're losing,
Yeah.
like what this is still an entertainment game. What are we doing here? You know,
We had this conversation, I know on our pod chat, that
we did, yeah.
there was that graph that a chap had posted on Reddit. I threw up onto Blue Sky with his permission, showing the success rates of the various coaches. And Mike Blair's was not vastly successful compared to the others, but it was enjoyable to watch.
Oh yeah,
Where-
when they got clicking, it was lovely. They played their attack was lovely. When it got going, their defence was terrible.
Yeah.
But
And I remember that far more fondly because they didn't have a far better win ratio, but it was good to watch. Whereas now they have a poor win ratio and it's turgid. So yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, when I was watching some of the highlights back today, the Edinburgh players just could not cope with the speed of ball that the Stormers, especially the second half, just the speed of ball through the hands, they just could not deal with it at all. The defence was just like,
Yeah.
you know, they're obviously standing back to see what's going to happen, but the Stormers are just passing it through the hands and nobody's tackling them.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're all waiting like your man, and there is no man. So,
Yeah.
and I won't name the player because I don't want to be mean.
Yeah.
The Stormers are going for a try, or an attack anyway, pretty close to the try line, and this Edinburgh player just sticks his arm out to an attempted tackle of the Stormers player coming towards him. And I thought, now, I understand that not everybody is the best defender in the world. I get that. But you can't just stick your arm out You're
No.
going to need to try a wee bit harder than that. Come on.
It's
At least
fascinating.
play for pride.
Yeah, and it's fascinating that arguably the best defence coach in the world, Sean at France.
Yes.
Yes.
Edwards.
Edwards.
God, I couldn't think of his name there either.
I know. I had a
It's been a long week.
I can see him. I can hear him. Yeah,
can see him.
Sean Edwards. He says that good defence is 90% attitude. It's about getting up time and time again and getting there time and time again. And if the player's attitude is not in the right place, then that's a big problem for that.
Yeah. Kind of goes back a wee bit to what we were talking about. Is this a chicken and egg thing? Is the want just not there? And that's why we're not seeing the best out of these guys. But I don't think that whole team is terrible,
Yeah. Well, yes. And, my attitude is that attitude and team culture is absolutely the head coach's responsibility. I will bang that drum until I die. That is a hill I will die on, and will take anybody to task if they argue otherwise. Right, on that happy note, we will move on to the Patreons in just a second, where we will talk about Glasgow and Edinburgh's opportunities to go further in the Champions Cup this weekend. That might be a slightly shorter conversation. We will also go for Hands in the Ruck, which is our section where we discuss things that may have wound us up and things we may have not liked. And our new section, which is our 50-22 section, where we finish up, we talk about things throughout the rugby world that we've really enjoyed. It doesn't have to be Scottish focused. It's just we discovered that we were talking a lot about the bad things in rugby, and we also all absolutely love the game. So let's talk about some of the good stuff as well. For all this sounds down, there is some really great stuff in our sport, and the reason that we do this every Thursday, etc. So on that note, I will say good night or goodbye to our non-Patreon listeners, and thank you very much for joining us.